Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. Did you have an easier time getting on this time?
I did. I
Now you know the ropes.
hmm?
Now you know the ropes.
Got on the ropes. Yeah. Didn't you say you were gonna do something different too?
As far as what?
I thought you said something about you were having issues prior to and you needed to do something.
So before I was having issues, I'm not having issues anymore. I haven't had any like it cutting off or any of that. So
Okay.
thankfully over.
That's good. How was your
Technology.
day?
It was it was full. It was good. I got to volunteer tonight at Teen Enterprise.
Oh, okay.
They help train up young entrepreneurs, so teen entrepreneurs. And one of the, well, Teen Enterprise is actually one of our sponsors for Girl Talk.
hmm
So it's been a good experience. I've been volunteering since the fall with them, and I've really connected with the kids and very life giving.
I bet. I work part-time in the elementary school around children, so I'm very well aware how life-giving working with young people can be.
Now I feel like elementary, that's a whole nother situation. You gotta have a special anointing. They're high energy, like
How-
those
They,
kids.
they tell Miss Terry that they tell me I have too much energy in the morning, so I have even more
Wow, that's
energy.
amazing. That's how you know you're gifted and called.
Definitely, it's so rewarding. It really, really is, and especially when I see the needs of children. Something my pastor said when I told him that I had taken that position, I was going to be working in the elementary school, and it was um the comment puzzled me at first. He said, "Oh, you're really going to go grow in discernment working in the school," and I'm like, I wonder why he said that. And it's so true. Working with children because of they're unpretentious, and you
Mm-hmm.
can really pick up on what's going on inside of them through their countenance. They're not able to hide so much what they might be feeling internally. So, growing in discernment, just paying attention to body language and expressions and even behavior tells you a lot. So, it's
Wow,
very, very rewarding.
that's beautiful. And the fact that you're learning that from young kids, like it just shows the teachability of children or their ability to teach us. I don't have kids. I know you do. But I just remember my mom always saying, "You'll know one day when you have kids." Like it just teaches you so much being a parent.
It really, really does. And being in this stage of life as a grandparent, because I have two adult granddaughters, and going back working in elementary school, it's even taught me more. I had my children when I was very young. I was a young mother. I married at 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still feeling things out too as a young mother, how to do things. So now being older and accumulating wisdom over the years, just from experience working with the children, um, I really appreciate being used in this way, especially with our children having so many needs, emotional needs, even social needs. And that's what Grace Academy of Small Wonder does, work with those primarily with girls. But what I'm finding, the little boys are watching me what I do, because at lunchtime I take the little girls and we go into the science room and we have the Grace Academy of Small Wonder sessions. Even though I work at the school part-time as well as a family liaison, it's helped me have access to girls right in the moment. So with the little boy, didn't realize the little boys are watching me. So, however, as a family liaison, I work with the little boys and as well too.
And you definitely touched on something, like the mental health aspect, the emotional aspect of working with these kids. It makes me think of my time with Teen Enterprise. Even though we're training them up in business skills, there's a lot of psychological, mental, and emotional aspects that we still have to deal with. These are inner city kids, on top of trying to teach them academically. So
Oh,
it's a holistic approach of helping the younger generation be trained up in these areas.
yeah, I can imagine for you, Nicole, that's really, really a challenge because the focus is the entrepreneurship aspect. However, you can't deny the social, I mean, the
Yeah.
emotional uh,
Yeah.
as well too, which we're still feeling the fallout of COVID. Children are the social scientists say children are about a year behind
Oh, wow.
socially,
Wow.
and still feeling the effects of that. And dealing with elementary, you're dealing with older children who can articulate
Mhm.
a little bit better, where they should be able to
Yeah.
anyway. But elementary children, they're not. And a lot of times it comes out in behaviors. It comes out in behaviors, adverse behaviors. So we're finding connection is very important. Not only for children, connection is very important for adults, because the Surgeon General put out his report last year at the end of 2023. The United States is at epidemic levels of isolation and
Mhm.
loneliness. So people aren't feeling connected, whether connected to a family, connected to some type of social network. And the children are feeling that impact as well too, and it's coming out in behaviors, which makes it difficult for learning. And a lot of our children are behind in reading skills and they're behind in math skills. It really is alarming.
Well, on that note, you have addressed the importance of connection, the importance of us coming together. So that will be a great segue for our topic of the evening, Girl Talk. So, for those who don't know, my name is Nicole D. Miller, and I'm the host of Girl Talk. Girl Talk is a discussion for female leaders to come together. We tackle different topics relating to being women. Our upcoming topic is taking care of us, and it's dealing with health and wellness for women. So I know we were kind of dialoguing about the next generation, but really, how can we help them if we're not helping ourselves? Self-care is a great need for us as women. So I have a special guest who's going to be a panelist for our upcoming Girl Talk. I want to call you Miss Gloria Terry. But she's going to be serving as like the spiritual expert, as well as all of the other areas of health, but even more specifically that. So, Miss Gloria, would you share with everyone who you are, what you do, and how they can support you?
Oh, okay. Thank you again, Nicole, for inviting me on this space. It's an honor to support you in the work that you're doing. I just wanted to say that. And it was a blessing, and even how we met through Akron Summit Scribes, and just to see you just growing. As she said, my name is Gloria Terry. I wear a number of hats. I would say first that I am the director and founder of a nonprofit organization that I was referring to. The name of the organization is Grace Academy of Small Wonders. And it kind of branched off from God's grace is the wonder in the heart of a little girl. Our mission for Grace Academy of Small Wonder is to nurture and mentor elementary girls around godly character, spiritual awareness, so girls know that they're more than their face and their body and their hair and their nails, mental well-being, social skills, and etiquette. I also work part-time, as I said, as a family liaison for Akron Public Schools, currently serving Barber Community Learning Center in Goodyear Heights. I'm also a licensed and ordained minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
So, as you guys can see, you're in good hands with Miss Gloria Terry because she is doing it all. And I'll be transparent. I really wanted you to be a part of this because of what you carry and what's inside of you. And I feel like we need the covering spiritually because we out here as these female leaders bringing forth transformation of light in the city.
Amen.
So we have people interceding, but I'm like, we need extra covering on this panel. So thank you for being who you are. Now, what are you looking forward to with this upcoming discussion on women's health? What do you feel like you'll share? What do you feel like will be shared? And what are you most encouraged about?
Okay. First, I'm most encouraged about, Nicole, that you're doing this invaluable platform bringing women together. We did the event last year and it was just phenomenal, where women could come together in a safe space and share, because part of what we're seeing today, just socially and mentally, in terms of mental well-being and health, individuals don't open up and are transparent because of a number of different reasons. Um, and I think one of the biggest reasons individuals don't feel that they can trust other individuals. We're living in a time of great deception. We're living in a time where people chase money and success more than they chase the divine power of love, and God is love. And I believe we are spiritual first. I mean, scripture tells us that God breathed into man that breath, and man became something. He became a living soul. The soul is the aspect of our thoughts, our feelings, and our ability to choose. And we're having a human experience in a body. However, oftentimes we neglect the spiritual aspect of who we are, which affects everything. So I'm looking forward to meeting again with the other women who are phenomenal. You are dealing with this issue as far as women and a holistic approach to their well-being physically, mentally, psychologically, and that's who we are. We're made up of all of those components. However, I believe that if we don't have an understanding that we're spiritual first, that we will walk through life crippled. You may be very successful as an entrepreneur. You may be a six-figure woman. Yet, if you don't have that foundation of knowing and understanding, those things won't satisfy like with an understanding and a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Can you share about any personal experiences you've had or walked through where maybe the spiritual wasn't in alignment and you could see it reflecting or affecting mental, emotional, physical, all the things in your life?
You mean me personally?
Mm-hmm.
Can you reframe the question so I could be specific to where that's a profile question. So be
Yeah.
more specific, and then I can answer.
I would say like any type of experience in your life that you could see, like I was in this season where maybe the spiritual wasn't in alignment, or I wasn't hearing spiritually or knowing my identity spiritually, and as a result it affected these other areas of my health.
Okay, yes, I can speak to that. I went through 3 years of depression, and it wasn't 3 months, it wasn't 3 hours, 3 minutes, 3 years. And during that time, I did not come out of my house.
Wow.
I was forced to. I lost a lot of weight. I did not take care of my personal hygiene. I didn't shower. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't take care of myself, basically. I was going through a very, very difficult time in a very toxic relationship situation, having gone through some things. I came to learn through that experience that pain could be a teacher. And when you talk about the spiritual aspect not lining up, not having that awareness, and at that season of my life, I did not have that awareness because I focused more on my problems and my issues and the things that I was going through at the time. So therefore, my thoughts became distorted. I was thinking things that were not in alignment with truth, ultimate truth, which is God's word. And I believe when we're going through difficult places and hard times like that, we become more vulnerable to the demonic. So therefore, the demonic demons are real, spirits are real, just as angels are real, and demons are not little red imps running around with forks, pitchforks. They're spirits, spirits of depression, spirits of anger, spirits of suicide. And therefore, when I went through that very, very dark season, I didn't go to church. Family members would reach out to me. They were very, very concerned because prior to having this experience, I was always a very strong person. I was a Christian. Wasn't that I was a Christian? I was a Christian. Christians can fall into a place of depression. I mean, life can
Yeah.
be very, very hard, very difficult. And then if you don't feel connected, um, it's not that during this time I didn't feel connected. However, I'm just adding that extra component when individuals don't feel connected, whether to a family. I mean, you shared, the loss of your mom, I think it was
Mhm.
at our session, and how hard that was because you and your mom were very close. when individuals begin to lose those connections that are very important too, especially going through a time as I did during the time I was suffering with depression, it can just take you down a dark hole. So when you talk about spiritual alignment at that time that affected my mental health, I was not in alignment. It did affect my mental health. I even had some very close friends come over, going to beat me up with the Bible. Well meaning, yet the approach was very inappropriate at the time for a lack of awareness and understanding. So that was a very, very dark season. Even so, during that time, um, I was even in the hospital for a time on a psychiatric ward. For and a lot of people don't know that. I talk about that in my book, as you know, Nicole. I'm writing a book. Um, and to end up there, I would have never thought I would have ended up there, and even how I ended up there, because I was believing something that wasn't true, and I took action based on something that wasn't true, and there was just a fallout of a number of different things. So that's the time that I could really share about and what I learned. Yet when God brought me out of that place, when I was back in alignment spiritually, there were three very powerful things that I learned. And I'll share those three things that I learned during that season. First, God never ever leaves us. He never does. We step away from him, but he never steps away from. And that's why I talk very openly about the demonic realm and that realm of evil, because it's real. That was another thing I learned. Demons are real. Hell is real. Hell, and I'm not even talking about the concept of hell in terms of fire, the lake of fire. I'm talking about a place that's separate from love, because God is love. God will not be in hell. Can you imagine an existence on a realm for all up throughout eternity and there's no love? We see the aspects of a lack of love on this side, in this realm, the earthly realm and the natural realm, where we could have so much gun violence and suicide and hate toward one another's, and yet there is some component of love. Imagine an existence where there's no love at all. So that's hell in of itself, just a separation from love, a separation from God. And then the third thing that I learned is there's nothing like the power of love, because it was the consistent love of those individuals in my life at the time, because I was pushing them away. I was rejecting them. I wouldn't answer the phone. I wouldn't go to church. Um, and as I said, it was a very dark season. Yet it was a season where I really grew and catapulted into a whole nother realm and level and joy, even the joy, because when God brought me out of it, out of that experience, it was like I remember having an experience in my bedroom when I was going through the depression, and it was like God opened the top of my forehead,
Mm.
the top of my head here,
Mm.
poured another level or layer of whatever. This didn't actually happen, but this is what it felt like
Mm.
within me. And it was like I was different. I was changed. I was even going to counseling at that time. And when I had this experience, it was like when I went into counseling one way, and when after I had that experience, the lady who was working with me as a counselor, she didn't even know it was the same person.
Wow.
That's how much of a transformation it was. So I learned a lot through that experience. I didn't like it when I was going through it, but when I came out of it, I saw the value and the benefit of it. And that's why I'm so passionate to help others become aware of just the spiritual aspect of who we are.
Thank you, Miss Gloria, just for your vulnerability and transparency with your story and with your testimony. And you kind of touched on this. I went through a hard time after my mom transitioned. So I can definitely relate to being spiritually out of alignment or feeling disconnected spiritually. So my gift of writing is really connected to my relationship with God. But for 3 years, I couldn't write. I couldn't write because it was so intimate, and I couldn't be intimate with him because I was in so much pain. But to your point, he never leaves us, and he was patient with me, and he even used that time of reading fiction to stir up my gift for fiction, so that when I did revisit writing, it was like a whole nother level, right? So he uses that as a catalyst. He
Mhm.
uses our pain as a catalyst for our purpose. And for me, what pulled me out of it, and you said the power of love, was revelation of my identity and purpose, because I just felt so purposeless. But it was his love bringing forth that revelation. So I'm encouraged by your story. I think that that is why you're on this panel and why you're part of Girl Talk, because every single person on this panel and in this group have these types of stories where they have been in those dark, dark places. And everybody is standing here today because we overcame those dark spaces. It's not that we never went through those dark spaces, it's that we overcame, and now we're on the other side, and what we have, we can give away. So, just to wrap this up, for those of you who are just now tuning in or will see this later, I am dialoguing with Minister Miss Gloria Terry, just sharing about our upcoming event, Girl Talk, Taking Care of Us. We will be discussing women's health. It is on Sunday, March 24th from 6 to 8. $5 tickets on Eventbrite, so no excuses. We do have drink tickets available. It's going to be a good time. We have a 1-hour dialogue with these panelists. We have Q&A from the audience. We have fellowship and networking with like-minded women. So it's Women's Month. Come and support. If you're a man who supports female empowerment, come support. Bring your woman. It's definitely a good time to align with those who are like-minded and have similar values. So, Minister Miss Gloria Terry, is there anything else you want to share before we end this live tonight?
The only thing I want to share is all of us have that inward power of love if we just tap it, knowing who we are through the Spirit. So I just want to encourage everyone out there, share a little bit more kindness, share a little bit more love, and it's going to make our world a much brighter, better place, even in the midst of the challenges that we're facing.
Agreed. Love is definitely the answer. Shout out to our sponsors for Girl Talk. We have Teen Enterprise, who I already mentioned. Unbar Cafe is sponsoring us the space. Mas Luray, they just dropped their apparel. Love is the solution. So this has just reminded me of that. They dropped their apparel. Love is the solution. So tap into that. We're all going to be in the house Sunday, March 24th at Unbar Cafe from 6 to 8. Thank you, Miss Gloria, and I will see you on the 24th.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good night.